These underrated isekai deserve far more attention. From bizarre reincarnations to wildly creative fantasy worlds, these hidden gems prove the genre still has surprises. Kicking off our list at number 10, the Red Ranger becomes an adventurer in another world. After a fierce battle against evil, a legendary Red Ranger is suddenly transported into a fantasy world filled with monsters, magic, and adventurers. Instead of returning home, he embraces his heroic instincts and continues helping people. His superhero abilities clash hilariously with traditional fantasy rules, creating unusual challenges and exciting encounters throughout every adventure. What immediately grabbed me is how confidently this series blends tokusatsu energy with classic isekai storytelling. The action feels fresh because the protagonist solves problems like a superhero instead of a fantasy adventurer. Every fight carries explosive enthusiasm, while the comedy lands naturally. It's a wonderfully strange crossover concept that somehow works better than expected and remains consistently entertaining throughout. Moving down the rankings to number 9, The Weakest Tamer began a journey to pick up trash. Ivy is born with an incredibly weak skill in a world where abilities determine social status. Branded worthless and forced into isolation, she begins traveling alone. Along the way, she befriends a tiny slime and survives by collecting discarded items. Her journey becomes one of resilience, self-discovery, friendship, and overcoming harsh prejudice through determination alone everywhere. This anime stands out because it refuses to rely on overpowered abilities or constant spectacle. Ivy's struggles feel genuine, making every small victory rewarding. The atmosphere is surprisingly warm, despite darker themes underneath. Combined with beautiful scenery and heartfelt character moments, it creates an emotional adventure that quietly earns your investment from beginning to end without forcing drama. Sliding into number 8, No Longer Allowed in Another World. A famous melancholic writer attempts to end his life, but instead finds himself transported into a fantasy realm. Unlike typical isekai heroes seeking power and glory, he remains obsessed with his gloomy worldview. Surrounded by eccentric companions and absurd situations, he navigates adventures with complete indifference, creating a uniquely comedic and surprisingly thoughtful fantasy journey. Few isekai protagonists feel as refreshingly unconventional as this one. The humor comes from constant clashes between dramatic fantasy events and the lead's detached attitude. Beneath the comedy lies sharp commentary about purpose and human nature. Its distinct personality separates it from countless genre competitors, making every episode feel unpredictable, memorable, and surprisingly insightful for viewers seeking something different. Taking the next spot at number 7, Villainous Level 99. I may be the hidden boss, but I'm not the Demon Lord. After reincarnating into an otome game, Yumiella realizes she is destined to become the hidden boss. To avoid disaster, she trains obsessively and accidentally reaches an absurd level of power. Despite wanting a peaceful life, her overwhelming strength constantly attracts attention. Political intrigue, misunderstandings, and growing relationships drive this entertaining fantasy story forward throughout. I love how the series plays with familiar villainous tropes while maintaining its own identity. Yumiella's deadpan personality makes every interaction funnier, especially when others panic over her incredible strength. The balance between comedy, romance, and fantasy progression remains strong. It never takes itself too seriously, creating a consistently enjoyable viewing experience that stays charming throughout every episode. Charging ahead at number 6, The Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic. Ken Usato is accidentally summoned alongside 2 genuine heroes and discovers a rare talent for healing magic. Rather than becoming a traditional support character, he undergoes brutal training under a relentless mentor. His healing abilities evolve into powerful combat tools, allowing him to survive dangerous battles while protecting allies across an increasingly threatening fantasy world. This anime succeeds because it transforms a typically passive ability into something genuinely exciting. Training sequences feel meaningful, and the action benefits from creative applications of healing powers. The cast shares excellent chemistry, especially during comedic moments. Combined with strong pacing and energetic battles, it delivers a refreshing take on a familiar isekai formula that rarely loses momentum. Breaking into our top 5 at number 5, Zenshu Natsuko Hirose is a talented animator whose career reaches an unexpected crisis. Following a strange incident, she becomes connected to the world of a beloved anime film. Armed with her creative expertise, she influences events from within the story itself. Reality, imagination, and artistic passion collide as she attempts to reshape fate and save lives. Among recent fantasy anime, this one feels remarkably original. Instead of focusing on game mechanics or power systems, it celebrates creativity and storytelling itself. The animation is appropriately impressive, reflecting its central themes beautifully. Watching artistic imagination directly affect a fictional world creates fascinating scenarios. It's a distinctive experience that demonstrates how flexible modern isekai concepts can become. Entering the final stretch at number 4, from bureaucrat to villainous, Dad's been reincarnated. A hardworking middle-aged civil servant suddenly finds himself reincarnated as the villainess of an otome game. Rather than embracing evil schemes, he approaches every challenge with practical workplace experience and fatherly wisdom. His mature perspective transforms relationships, alters expected story routes, and creates countless comedic situations as he unintentionally wins over nearly everyone around him. The biggest strength here is its protagonist. Watching a responsible adult navigate a genre dominated by teenagers produces constant entertainment. The humor feels clever instead of repetitive, and the wholesome interactions add genuine charm. Its unusual perspective refreshes familiar villainous conventions while remaining accessible. Few recent isekai comedies balance absurdity and warmth quite as effectively as this. Claiming number 3, My Ridiculous Reincarnation. After an unusual death, the protagonist experiences an absurd reincarnation that completely changes expectations surrounding fantasy adventures. Navigating unfamiliar circumstances, strange abilities, and bizarre social situations becomes a daily challenge. As new allies and enemies emerge, the story steadily expands beyond its comedic premise. Unexpected growth, escalating stakes, and unconventional world-building keep events moving forward. What makes this series memorable is its willingness to embrace ridiculous ideas without hesitation. The comedy is unapologetically strange, yet the narrative still develops meaningful progression. That combination creates an experience unlike typical isekai stories. Viewers never know what bizarre twist awaits next. Its commitment to originality helps it stand out within an increasingly crowded genre landscape. Taking the runner-up position at number 2, Ishura. Following the fall of a terrifying demon king, countless powerful warriors compete to determine who deserves recognition as the world's greatest champion. Rather than focusing on one protagonist, the story follows numerous extraordinary fighters. Each possesses unique abilities, motivations, and histories. Their intersecting paths create political tension, brutal conflicts, and large-scale battles across the realm. Ishura excels because every character feels capable of carrying an entire series alone. The power system encourages creative confrontations, while the world building adds significant depth. Action scenes are intense, but strategy matters just as much as strength. Its ambitious structure rewards attentive viewers. For fans wanting something more complex than standard fantasy adventures, this delivers remarkably well. And finally, reigning supreme at number 1, Ascendance of a Bookworm Season 4. Mine continues pursuing her dream of spreading books throughout a world where knowledge remains inaccessible to most people. As her influence grows, she becomes entangled in noble politics, religious institutions, and societal transformation. Armed with memories from her previous life, she introduces innovations that reshape civilization while confronting increasingly complicated responsibilities and dangerous power struggles ahead. Few isekai series build their world with this level of care and consistency. Instead of relying on endless battles, it focuses on culture, economics, education, and social change. Every achievement feels earned because progress requires effort and sacrifice. Season 4 continues that tradition brilliantly. It's thoughtful, immersive storytelling that demonstrates exactly how compelling the genre can be. These anime prove that incredible isekai adventures aren't always the biggest mainstream hits. Whether you prefer comedy, action, emotion, or world building, this list offers something memorable. Which underrated isekai impressed you most, and which hidden gem deserves a spot in future rankings? Share your picks below.